ladies and gentlemen, to another Simone Walker Casting Actors Access. We have an absolute phenomenal panel for you today for your good. If you're an actor, aspiring actor, if you want to do something in voiceover and singing and how to get into the industry, this panel right here will give you everything that you need. We have a powerful panel up here today, and I'm so grateful that you came out today. And I'm going to introduce one by one, and we're going to get started. You get your questions in your head. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Raise your hand. Talk back to them. If you have pen and paper, make sure you write down your notes. If you have contact information, make sure you connect with these people. Okay? Thank you. And on the panel we have today, we're going to start with Ms. Jacqueline Anderson. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Jacqueline Anderson. Gosh, what about me? Simone and I go way, way back to the stage at Evangel Cathedral. I started out as a writer at Evangel Cathedral. I don't know if you all know they did, no longer, they did a lot of the big spiritual plays in the area. So they would do Christmas celebration, Easter with all the gospel singers. So kind of started out in the background there, started writing, and then wound up miraculously on stage. I'm still trying to figure out how I ended up on stage. And loved acting. From there, I was bitten by the entertainment bug. So I went to Howard University and got a master's degree in film studies. So between stage and film, whatever it may be, I find my hands in all things acting and drama. So also teach a screenplay writing class on how to get your ideas out of your head and onto paper, which I put Simone at.
Next on the panel.
Hi, my name is Alejandro Chamorro, and I'm an actor, director, writer, producer. Started my own film company, AC Films, and I do a lot with a lot of the talent that's in the business. I network with everyone, and right now I have projects that I'm doing, so I'm just keeping myself busy doing that, and also working on other people's projects as well, like directing or helping them with ideas as far as like getting the script together and even editing. So that's where I'm at.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Commodore. I own Commodore and Film Board. We are a full-fledged film production company. We just don't work in the DMV. We work all across the U.S. We just finished 3 projects. One is basically still in post. The other, we just finished our proof of concept. Just went up to New York, and we're getting ready to take the comedy series we just filmed to another level. Like I said, I have 13 employees, 9 permanent employees. The other work for hire, and what we do, other than film, we also teach the industry, 100% film industry, from the developmental stage all the way through the distribution stage. So we offer a great deal. We are a production house. We have everything in-house, which include filming, editing, writing. Everything you can imagine, we have it, we teach it, we do it. Like I said, and our projects are moving forward. We've been filming for the last 2 years straight. We also filmed a documentary that's out there, the Trey Cheney story. I'm pretty sure y'all, it's for who haven't heard about it, but we're right now winning awards throughout the film festival circuits right now. So we have a lot going on, but I'm just here to kind of give you all some nuggets, whatever you guys need.
Hello everyone, my name is Steele, and I am a gospel recording artist and slash actress. I'm just honored for this opportunity. I am one of 8 children, one of 6 girls, and I have 2 brothers, and we are the Steele family. Honored to have my oldest sister Debbie here with me, who's also
World-renowned.
She sang with Charlie Daniels, Sandy Patty. She sings now currently with Richard Smallwood, but I'll leave you alone. But I'm just honored to have her with me today. she actually is where my acting and stage vocal, where I got started. And my senior year in high school, I had the opportunity to sing in gospel at Colonus at the arena stage, and with Morgan Freeman and the Five Blind Boys and another Steele family from North Carolina, and it was through her that I was able to get that part, and I was the vocal singing for the play along with her. And this gentleman to my left is an awesome director, and I just did my latest play with him, and I had a leading role as a counselor, and he's an awesome person to work with, and just the opportunities that has been before me has just been awesome, and I'm just grateful to be here. Love to sing.
Hello everyone, my name is Dennis Jones, and I first want to say, man, God has truly blessed me to do a lot of things. I gave Simone my word that I would be here today. I'm saying that because just yesterday I was in Germany.
Wow.
I'm talking about on the internet though, on the internet. But I travel the world on the internet. Let me stop playing. I am a stand-up comedian too, so that's what I do. I like to make things a little light. But look, no, I do stand-up, but I am a writer, and a director, and an actor. And I also build my sets. I build sets and things like that. And that's, so I wear quite a few hats. And then when it's time to drive the truck, I drive the truck too. So sometimes you gotta, I wear a lot of different hats. But it's something that I love doing. Been doing it for, let's say about 15 years. We'll just keep it around that. I'm ready to turn 57 pretty soon. Just some FYI, I've been married for 36 years. 36 years with 3 kids, and got some grandkids like that. But anyway, I'm didn't go to school for nothing.
No, he's amazing.
Went to high school, graduated, went to, military and all those type of things. But I'm saying that to say this, not to downgrade anybody else that went to school for what they've done. God had truly, seriously, and this is serious, God truly blessed me to just have a vision and see some things and just do it. You know what I mean? Some things are just God-given, and I think I kind of fall in that category because some things just came natural to me, and that's where I am. So you can say I'm that grassroots brother that just saw it and just went for it. You know what I mean? Didn't have any sponsors, didn't have any backing, but guess what? Took my little bit of money I had, put it together, and made things work, and then from there start building. And so hopefully I can be that testament to you if you're in that field, even if it's just acting. I'm gonna stop talking, but even if you're in that arena of just wanting to act, you say, I've never been before nobody, I've never opened my mouth, never done it. Guess what? If it's here, you can do it. You can do it. And it sounds like we got a great panel before you today to help push you into your vision or your desires. All right. Okay, my name is Dennis Jones, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. All right.
So now, if anybody has any questions, raise your hand.
Well, why don't you start off with the first questions?
Start off with the first question. Since we have a singer on the panel, how important is it in production to have music?
I myself think it's very important. Mr. Jones, the plays that I've been in, I've tried to convince him that maybe have a few vocal spots in his play. He has it right now, but I've always dreamt of acting and singing at the same time, but most of my roles that I play with him, it's not a singing part for me. So I think it's very important. I think it highlights the stage, not just your acting, which is, again, phenomenal that he does, but I enjoy singing. It's passion, so the acting I love, but the singing I love. So I just would love to put them both together.
Can I piggyback on that real quick? Everybody can attest to this. Music is such one of the strongest aspects to any. You can't watch a commercial without music in it. Even if it's not vocals coming out your mouth, they're putting some type of melody behind it to capture this and to capture this, or to capture your hunger or something. Music is key. You just put a production together. You can't tell me there's no music in there.
And
guess what? The channel will be changed. Boom. It grabs you. It grabs your emotion. That's what music does. So if you're writing or even acting, that's why when you get to certain parts in the movie, all of a sudden they bring that little soft music in there. And guess what? Man, you find yourself in the movie. That's what it is. They're trying to send a message to your heart and to your mind. So if it's not singing, music, in my opinion, is one of the biggest keys.
Right, he's right, because we won Best Music,
Is that right?
Best Sound, and 2 film festivals, one in LA and one here. I believe you were there.
Yes.
But we won Best Sound.
Mm.
Music is, we didn't
Well,
win
a lot
Best
more than
Director.
that, right?
We won Best Documentary.
Well,
We won Best Documentary, and we won Best Sound, Best Editing. So music is certainly key. We do have our own editing department, and with Commodore Independent Film Works, what we were able to do, we were so blessed to be able to bring in so many departments, so we wouldn't have to do it. I wouldn't have to do it all on my own, because when I first started my production 11 years ago, it was just me. So I'm writing, I'm editing, I'm directing, I'm doing everything, but you have to know how to do everything to become one. And once, what we did, we try not to be, I'm the type of person, I didn't want to be dependent on anyone, but if I bring someone, it's a plus. But if someone were to walk away, I know how to do it, I know how to fill it. So we have our own department, we have our own casting department, so I can kind of push back now and let my team do everything, but sound, when it came to sound, I go into the sound booth, I go into the sound box, I listen to what the editor's doing, he'll send me some sounds, he'll put the footage together, because the very last thing you do in your film, you put sound. If you build your film around sound, I mean with sound, you're not gonna have a great experience. Sound is the very last thing you do in film, because now you can actually put the sound with what you actually shot. You have an idea in mind, you can create your own sound, so that's how we were able to win Best Sound in a few film festivals.
No, that's absolutely, I'm just piggybacking off what you're saying, it's so huge. I don't know if you all know the term Foley.
Yes.
He's talking about, I know you. But Foley sound is when you go back and you put the sound in, say for instance, footsteps on gravel, right? So you put the sound in, you might have it when you shoot, but it's not strong enough, it's not defined enough. So you're right, at the end of the film, you go back, you put those sounds in, you make it the way you want it. That's part of your sound design as well as music.
Yes.
The scoring is a huge part of sound design and all of those things he's talking about. Also ADR,
Yes.
where you go back and say you've said your line, or you said your line, and there was maybe a plane flying overhead or something happening that messed up the quality of that sound. Well, at the end, in post-production, at the end of filming, you would go back in and you would re-record. They bring you in the sound booth and you would re-record that line that didn't sound so great. So laying down that whole sound design, I see why you got it. Just laying down that whole sound design is huge. And that happens after you shoot everything and after you listen to everything and you go back and forth and then you go back and you perfect that. That's the beautiful thing about film. If it doesn't happen in real time, because it doesn't happen in real time, you shoot things out of order. You shoot things out of sequence.
Absolutely.
You get what you need when you need it. You might only be able to get what you need at a location that's available now, and that might not be the beginning of the film. Whereas on stage, everything happens in real time.
Well, question, how many aspiring filmmakers do we have in the audience? Filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers. All right. Well, one thing I can say real quick, because I'm glad you mentioned ADR. I just spoke at the Black Film Festival in Atlanta, and I watched so many films, and I explained to a lot of filmmakers, one thing you never want to do is depend on your camera for sound. The only reason why we use our camera for sound, like when we shoot it with the Reds, we use it for sound to match it with the separate sound that we film. Because it helps us not to have to go back to ADR, because when you're shooting an outside scene and it sounds like you're talking from a booth, we know that it was ADR the wrong way. But a lot of films down there did rely on their camera sound, which is a disaster in your film, because your camera sound is not built for film. It's just built to kind of give you a guide so you can match your other sound footage from your external sound. So that's why we also film external sound. We film external sound twice. So just in case one goes bad, I have another. And once we match it with our original sound, we can cut out our camera sound, because, again, I've seen quite a few films, and it was disastrous because they only relied on their camera sound.
And understand you all are not you're not technically here to be filmmakers and you're actors, but I was just giving you an idea.
Yes.
Sometimes if you have to be called back, you might have said your line, right?
Yes.
You might have to be called back after you shot everything, after they shot everything, and they were like, hey, can you come back? We need you to reread this. We need you to come to the sound booth. That is one of the things that you might be called on to do as an actor or as an actress. At the end of a film. The phase that you all are in typically are in production. There are 3 phases.
Yes.
There's pre-production, production, and post-production, right? So the phase that obviously you're typically in is production. Now, you may be called into pre-production. They may do a table read or something, depending on the director. A table read is when you first come in with a group of people. I don't even know if you saw, like, I think it's Seinfeld.
Right.
They would show those clips of Seinfeld where they would do table reads and you would sit
Show
around.
about nothing.
Right, show about nothing. And you would sit around with your scripts and you would all read through your parts together. This is before you memorize it. Well, that's a part of pre-production. But you typically, as the actor, are involved in production, the production part. But there may be a time where you come in and you are called back in to the third and the final phase, which is post-production, where they may need to pull on the coattail, call you back in, and do a little bit of ADR, and you would have to reread your lines or something like that. That may be a process you would be involved in. So I'm actually glad you went into detail about it and you started with the sound design, because you all too are a huge part of the sound design.
Just for the record, what's ADR?
Yes.
School work.
So ADR is when you come back and have to reread your lines, even though, yeah, and re-record it so the sound is crisp and clean.
Voiceover.
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 Yeah.
And so it's quite challenging, right? Because when you're shooting, you're in a different mood. But when you're recording a voice, you have to be in the same
That's an excellent point.
Yes.
character.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
there are different things when you're acting. I think you may have, but just out of on stage it's a little different because you can just say when you're done with it. But then you have to be mindful when you're acting and on the camera, because then you have to be the same way. And I think that's one of the reasons what you mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll touch on that. So I understand exactly what you're saying. So when you're out there recording, you're doing the action part or whatever it is, that dialogue, you're in that scene, your mind is there, you know what I mean? So it's the original scene that you did with your voice and your emotion. So that when they call you back and say, hey, you know, we need you to record it again, that's when it gets hard.
Yes.
That's when you have to be the actor. You know what I mean? That's when you have to put your mind to where you were in that scene to record it just the way it was or even better. So.
And what we would do, because 95% of our projects are union projects, if we had to do that, I will bring you back, because first of all, you get compensated for coming back because of your union. You actually go over it as if you were acting. If it was an outside scene, I would still have you come into the to the booth, do your ADR, go outside in your room zone, so we can put both of those together.
So,
And it sounds like you were actually outside, because if we don't get the tone from where the film was actually, or where the scene was actually shot, you're gonna have an outside shot with an inside booth sound, which is again a disaster.
what would you suggest in that, in this topic, particularly the sound recording is done? Because obviously, maybe you shot 3 months ago, and you may not. So do you can you see the video to see how you're gonna match it? Because
Yes, I will show you.
Awesome.
I will show you, and we would just pretty much do the scene all over again, as if. And if I have to read with you, if I have to throw you, and if I have to read with you, we'll just do the scene all over again. Yeah.
How important is it for an actor to be available for reshoots?
That is 100% important, because if you're not there, guess what? You don't have a film. It's like, well, where's his dialogue? We don't have John to complete his dialogue, so the film has to be on hold, and then it puts everybody on hold, it puts production on hold, puts everything on hold, so everyone has to be committed 100%. That way, the director has his full film together.
And
Yeah, when
So-
you're doing a film, it's like a puzzle, put together a puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, everything's out of order, and you put it all together in the end, in
Yeah.
post-production.
Yeah. So if you're not there, guess what? You can't complete the film, you can't submit it to a film festival, then that puts a damp in the whole project. So there are issues that rise up like that, but it's good to know that everyone's on board 100%. That way, the director knows, hey, you know what? I got a great team. I know that you can complete it. That's why every time you go submit for castings, they always say, have no restrictions that day,
Yes.
And I
Is that
ask
so?
that question because some people want to act, but don't know the dedication that it requires. They want to be a part of something, but it requires you to be there, even in theater. How important is that as an actor? And explain how theater disciplines you more
Want me to answer?
than film. Yes, please.
What was the question again? How does theater discipline you more for?
How important it is for an actor to be dedicated to what they committed to, and how theater disciplines you more than film. You get that discipline from theater than film.
Because I look at it this way. One thing about theater, as opposed to film. Film sometimes, I'll put it to you this way. With those guys that deal with film, they got a project, and sometimes they can keep pushing their piece off. Like I said, what if one guy get in an accident or get hurt? That can shut things down, or they got to go find it out. They can push theirs off. But when I lock my date in, my date is locked. We know when when our curtains are going up, and so it is. There's not a lot of room for you continually keep missing rehearsals and things. Because it's like he said, you're a team, and that team needs to work as a team. I used to run track, and if one joker drops the baton when we're doing a relay, what? It sabotages the whole thing. I mean, there's a loss there. You know what I mean? So the discipline, I look at it as being disciplined. I think it helps with theater a little bit as opposed to these guys, but I'm just trying to think of some scenarios I have with people, because most times with my people, where I'm at, that's kind of set up front. I want to know your schedule, and I'll sometimes try to work around your schedule, but guess what? This past piece we did just in, what we just did in September, I had to let, I'm calling them jokers, I call everybody jokers, you can be my mother, I call you a joker, but I had to let 2 jokers go. I had to let 2 jokers go because of the fact of not being disciplined. Even one point of being not disciplined is, if I've given you a script and you had this script long enough, because guess what, when we come to rehearsal, it's going to tell within the first 5 minutes if you even opened it up. And one of the ladies, when I had my private conversation with her on the phone, when I let her go, I told her, I said, it was evident that you didn't open that script up until you came to rehearsal. It was like, because guess what? You dropping the baton on us, because now you slowing up all the process. Now I got to pour all this time. I don't call it wasting time, but now I got to put a lot more extra time in here because you didn't do your homework. So guess what? When these people give you a script or something in your hand, you have to jump into it. You have to, and that's where the discipline part comes. If anything, you're an adult, we're relying on you. It's one thing if you're a kid, even some kid. Matter of fact, the kid that was in my play, and I know we don't work for a lot of the young ones, but this dude was doing better than us adults.
First time.
Yeah, his first time. He did better than a lot of adults. So I may be wrong with this, but discipline is you're an adult. This is what you want to do. It's going to tell quickly how serious you are. How bad do you want this? Because it's going to tell. They're going to get on set and they're going to say, it's going to be a lot of cuts. Cut. Then they're going to start looking at you. Matter of fact, then you're going to be cut. That's how it's going to come down to it. Because time, like they tell you, time is money, man. Remember, we're a team. When I put the baton in your hand, I need you to carry it. We got to move this thing. So that's my 2 cents.
And I'm sorry, and I just think, I think it's more than discipline, it's passion.
That's true.
Because I started out on stage before I even went to film. I started out on stage, and because I had a great memory, I disciplined myself to study a script a certain way. So after I finished stage, I actually taught how to become your script. And if he were to give me a script, that script would be memorized within a matter of 3 days. Because when I taught the students, read the script 3 times straight. Just for enjoyment, just enjoy it 3 times as if you're watching a movie. Because you can watch a Star Wars movie, you know your favorite part. So don't just know your part, know their part.
Talk about
Because you can pick people up on stage. And when I'm not even in a film, I'm in stage because you can easily pick people up and create something of your own. But it's not just discipline, it's the passion that you have. If I give you a script and you come to the set and you open up your script and you're fumbling, I'm gonna get rid of you. Because I know that you did not have the passion when I gave you the script 2 weeks ago, because you should have had it. And just a brief, when I did my first film, I got a call I got an email at 4 o'clock in the morning to be on set. Why was I at 4 o'clock in the morning? Because I was hungry, because I wanted this. I got a call to be on set, my first film, at 9 o'clock. The script was, I believe, 30 pages, which is maybe a 30-minute film. By 9 o'clock, I knew that entire script. And when I walked in that house, the guy says, "Where's your script?" I says, "I'm good." And we filmed. Because when you give your director the confidence that you are ready, he's ready. And he feels so much better about himself. So it is dedication, but it's more passion. If you're not passionate about it, you shouldn't be doing it.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
no.
because they may have a question. You can answer this for them. He just said it. Now you say he got a bad mind. He said everybody can't remember them 30 pages like you. So my point was, can you give them a little tidbit or something or just keys or just little practices, or what can they do to better learn scripts quickly?
You become it. You don't read it to read it. You don't read it to get through it. You become it. You enjoy that story. You read it as if you were there. You have to vision, because once you start visioning what you're reading, you're becoming a part of it. Okay, so once you finish the first time, you say, "You know what? I love that." So if you ever read a book twice because you love that book so much, or if you watched a movie twice because you love that movie so much, you become engaged. Regardless of how many pages, you don't think of, oh shit, this is 90 pages. I'm in trouble. No, you become it, because the more you become engaged in that story, the more you become a part of it. So if any director were to give me a script, I'm going to become a part of it, because I know that they want me to be what it is in the script. Even if I have 2 lines, I will show up on his set and say, "You know what, boss, I know everything in the script. I know your whole script. I'm good."
So I know about the script and you should really love it, but what if you don't agree? Everybody has their choices sometimes, and even though you want to be an actor, you want to be a part of it, but you may not agree with that script and you may not like it.
Well, why are you there?
I was just about to say that too. One of the reasons too is like, the director gives you the script, you say, you look at it, you're like, you don't like it. That's what I was about to say. You have to like the character.
Yeah.
Like you can read it and say, "Oh, I want you to play this part," whatever.
Right.
But the actor, the one you give the script to, he has to like that character.
Right.
If he doesn't like it, then he's not going to be emotionally involved in that character. I don't want to play this character. No, I don't really see myself. So you have to ask yourself as an actor, how versatile are you?
Mm-hmm.
That's when the tricky part comes, because directors will, that might be your first chance or your last chance.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So like, this is, why we're here to talk about that, because I've gone through that experience. Exactly what you're saying. I've gotten a script.
What did you do?
I've done a lot of things, man.
No, I mean, what did you do
in that
when you
situation?
got
I just told him, I was like, you know what? Like as an actor, you got to think like, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do. So, and then some roles can be challenging too. Some roles could be like, you know what? I can't do that. I don't see myself doing that.
That's like being true to yourself. You have to know what you can.
Yeah. So so most of the times I play detective, police. I mean, they'll cast me as police like that, because I've done a lot of stuff.
You look like a police man.
As a matter of fact, not right your opinion, but I was in that.
But you know what? I think what Dennis is saying, and actually what all of you are saying, is so true. Back to your point of the discipline that you get in theater. I'm a film director and I'm a stage director. Yeah. We're in the middle of a show right now, for a stage show right now for November. and we're in the middle of the 2 films. And they're different genres, but as a director,